All right, welcome back. We continue live right here, Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani, Andrew Fillipponi with you. And we have callers to get to. And before I do that, though, I do want to talk about just the Steelers from what we've seen. Andrew, a lot of people are looking at the record of the opposition, which is 0-9. They've administered 3 of those losses. And I understand it's not been the best schedule to start, unlike Houston, which had to play the 3 best teams. But on the other hand, Tennessee, their record is similar. They've taken on teams that have a combined 1-8 record. So I don't know what to draw from that, but I think people are quick to point out that it's a soft schedule. Wait till you see. I think the Steelers have been very good. They've not been consistent enough to me. I want to see consistent 60-minute effort. I thought their second half was spectacular against Houston. The first half, not so much.
I don't really think a lot of people are down on the Steelers, Bob. I mean, I think despite the combined record of their opponents, I think more football people like the Steelers than the Titans. And Tennessee was in the AFC Championship game last year. I know I'm one of those Titan skeptics. I still think to some degree they're a fluke. I think their quarterback is due to come back down to earth at some point. I think the safety they've got, Byard, is phenomenal. I think he's really good. I think he's kind of a very poor man's Ed Reed, where he's around the ball a lot. Reminds me of what Minka was last year. But I don't think they're a great team. I think they went 9-7 and got hot. And they're off to a good start, but I don't trust them. And I think the same thing can be said of the Bills. I mean, I think they're a very, very, very quiet 3-0 team. Their quarterback has played out of his mind for 3 games, Josh Allen, but he's another one, Bob. You know, I'm going to trust Ben Roethlisberger.
I agree with you on Ryan Tannehill. I think Josh Allen's going to be a star in the league, and I think he's already starting to do that. He's been terrific protecting the football and producing a lot of touchdowns.
Well, I just don't think they have the pass rush when it matters. And I know they got a defensive-minded coach, but I don't see T.J. Watt. I don't see Cam Hayward. I don't see guys like that on that Bills defense. It's a tremendous secondary. And Edmonds, they got the better Edmonds brother on defense. He's a really good inside linebacker. Probably would be the Steelers' best inside linebacker if he was playing here. But, all right, the Diggs trade was a nice one, I guess. They gave up a first-round pick. He's had an instant impact. I still think that Allen, at the end of the day, would rather run the ball than throw it. And that's what he did last year to great success. And I'm not going to take anything away from what he's done against the Jets and the Dolphins and the Rams. But I'm still skeptical because he hasn't done it on the big stage yet. He got him into the playoffs, but that was a defensive team last year, Bob. They did it mostly on the back of their defense.
And it is early. And we saw last year, you should learn every year that the first couple of games of the season do not give you an indication of what the real season is going to turn out to be.
But I'll tell you who I am buying, New England. I think the Patriots, they're the team to me I would take them right now ahead of the Steelers. Because of the coach, and I think
No way. I'm sorry, they don't have enough depth for that to happen, and I think they're good.
Depth where?
Defensively, number one. Compare the 2 defenses. Who's better? It's hands down in favor of the Steelers, I believe. And then, you're going to talk about Cam Newton. Fine. I think he's terrific when he's on his game. But I also think Ben Roethlisberger being healthy all season long, you're going to see a better Ben moving forward, and you're going to see an offense that takes off. And to complement this defense, I don't think there's any question that Pittsburgh is better than New England. Not even one question to me. I know you're going to disagree, so go ahead.
Okay. I think they got the better coach by far, and I think he's going to do whatever it takes to win. And we know what that means sometimes, that the rules don't only get bent, they get shattered. They get beaten into oblivion, into a bloody pulp by Belichick if it means he's going to win a game. We've seen Cam Newton play at an MVP level. I was blown away by how good he looked against Seattle. That, to me, was an eye-popping game where I was like, wow.
I agree.
Everybody's bragging about Russell Wilson. He's going throw for throw with this guy, and he doesn't have anywhere close to the weapons.
Right.
I could see, Bob, them, 2 guys to watch for. A.J. Green, Odell Beckham Jr. I would not be surprised if one of those guys is in New England before the year is out.
And I would not disagree with your take there. I think that's going to happen. Somebody's going to go. It won't be Antonio Brown. All right, let's go to the lines. We got Al.
He'll be in Baltimore.
He's going to be somewhere. I still believe that. Al in Bethel Park, you're up. Go ahead, Al.
Hi, Al.
Hey, Bob. Hey, what's going on? I'm going to get this in a minute real fast. Tony, I want to say congratulations to the Twins, Tampa Bay, Oakland, Cleveland, San Diego, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and the Marlins. The next time you see Bob nutting Tony, just mention 2 words, the Florida Marlins. And then when you go to the end of the year press conference for Rob Manfred, ask him, why does every single small market owner compete except one? And then ask him about the best interest clause and why was it used in the 97 Marlins and why was it used in the 98 Padres. It is not being used now. I got it all in. Thanks.
Good job. Go ahead, Pony.
Well, my fear here is that I'm going to like these all-day playoffs so much over the next 2 days, Bob, where it's 8 games today and possibly we'll see about 8 games on Thursday, that I'm going to want to see them keep this in full time. And
I
to
agree.
me, that's the Pirates' only hope for 2021 is that they pull a Marlins who went from 105 losses into the playoffs this year. And we saw 2 losing teams for the first time ever make the playoffs too. And if that's the situation, it's not inconceivable that the Pirates could win like 78 or 79 games. They probably won't. I think they'll still probably lose around 95. But it's a lot easier to go from a 100-loss team to 77 or 78 wins than it is to the usual 88 or 89 that it takes to make the playoffs.
Pete in Squirrel Hill, you're next up on the Sports Call. Hey, Pete.
Hey, guys, how are you tonight?
Good.
Hey, Bob, now that the Stanley Cup playoffs are over and everything, I was looking back, reflecting on the Penguins season. And Angelo, I think you touched upon this. The Penguins played their best hockey this past year when Crosby was out of the lineup. They were more responsible in the defensive zone and neutral zone, and they forecheck with more intent. Crosby comes back into the lineup, they abandon that style of play. They go into the playoffs, and once again they lose to a team they were overwhelmingly favored to beat. So with that in mind, they didn't play the way the coach wanted them to play. To me, there's only one answer, guys, a lack of leadership on the ice. I haven't heard anybody in Pittsburgh's media talk about that. What do you think?
I'm never going to question his leadership ever. I think Sidney Crosby leads by example every day. I think he's one of those guys who doesn't have to speak up and yell to you. He shows you what it takes to win. He's a 200-foot player. They have issues that go beyond their star players. They still can compete with their star players. All they have to do is find better people. I don't think last year they did a good enough job, and I also think...
Yeah, I think...
Go ahead.
Pete is right, though, about their identity crisis, because when guys were injured and they had to do less flash and dash and more, let's batten down the hatches and try to win 2-1. When they were more of that team this year, they were a better team, wins and losses. And then, I think we saw the Matheson trade. They want to get back to being a more speed-oriented team, which is fine. They won 2 Stanley Cups that way. But I think there's a little bit of caught in the middle because I think Sullivan tried to revert back to playing games 2-1 in the playoffs, Bob,
right,
when he had the firepower to overwhelm Montreal. He should have unleashed the hounds against the Canadiens.
They look like the team that was the last team in. The Penguins did,
right,
instead of the team that was supposed to inflict a lot of damage to a team that clearly didn't want to be there at first, and yet it looked like the Penguins at the end weren't interested in being there. We got to take a break here, but not before our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day, and this comes to us from NFL Research. They always do a really good job with this, and it's about Lamar Jackson. As I said earlier, this is unbelievable that he was drafted in 2018. The Ravens are 0-9 after trailing at halftime. That includes playoffs. Only team in the NFL without a single win after trailing at halftime during that span. More calls on the way. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, Pittsburgh CW. Don't go away.